Welcome back. This is Chicken Philosophy 908. Never mind. It's Nag Hammadi Scriptures, part 17. Paul, don't be weird. Agnetha. Right, it's a popular number. Used to be. Okay, so hi. Today, I'm your host, Gwydion, and, we're going to read some Nag Hammadi. I remember in part 16, it concluded with something about the divine emission. So that's at least the beginning of what we'll be reading today. But first, I want to introduce you to a fish. And it's very appropriate since Nag Hammadi is very much of the Piscean, age, back when it was cool. You really have to stretch the definition of cool. But anyway, no, like when the Pisceans were like the upstarts, they were making waves and messing up the established order of things. So we've got some Vedika. I'm a sucker for anything that has the Himalayas on the other side of water, so it has a nice effect. There's more than one brand of water that does that. This is actually filtered water. So we bought this a long time ago, and I wash it and put filtered water inside. So just so you know, we're going to put the water in the fish, which, Pisces is ruled by water. It's mutable water. I guess that means it's liquid as opposed to solid, fixed, or gas. Oh, maybe gas is mutable. I don't know. Cardinal water. I remember something about the oxygen, and something was happening where there was water. There were like these crazy rivers of water like pouring out of the north and south poles of some kind of star, and it was obviously liquid. I mean, it was obviously like not liquid, but at one point it's liquid. Space, man, it's wild. For all the stupid shit going on Earth, I mean, okay, every 5 minutes there's a new level of technology as far as like what's more or less invisible. Like, oh, the thing you're holding in your hand, yeah. Oh, there's a new one. Oh, it's better, is it? What's the difference? Well, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference because you just use it to chat with your friends and watch YouTube. Yeah. But it's better, is it? The AI is more advanced or whatever. But meanwhile, people are looking out, scientists and whatnot are looking out in space and being like, wow, we've cataloged 10 times as many habitable planets for humans as we did yesterday. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like these like massive, like, oh, okay, so we figured out this aspect of the Big Bang, or we figured out this, or like new problems coming up that are like, whoa, everything like that Tetris, everything is wrong. Anyway, that can be taken too far, but also not far enough. So this here, the incense for today, soul flower, kesar, I think, the fire flower flows myriad. How does that quote go, Editor Edward? The fire flower flows myriad, as all in the flesh place remember and relive times of journeying. You and I are journeying together, experiencing life in each moment's palm frond essence, as it passes from the now shadow to the nanosecond gate of Just Then's domain. Yeah, from the closing line of closing couple lines of Transformations by my dad. The Fire Flower. Then I used to, on account of the main thrust of, his and Gordon's and Ram Dass's whole thing about the now, being the now, the eternal now. So I combined those and had the Fire Flower of Now. Can we dig that up? I don't know if we were able to dig that up, but that was kind of the origin of this. Turned into this eventually when I drew that guy. The star itself, I think I made that in 2001 on Paint Shop Pro, and then the little man in the middle, I think I drew that in like 2014, 2015. All right. I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and... The next thing we do here on the Nag Hammadi portion of Chicken Philosophy is we read one paragraph of Living Gnosis. So, here we go. You ready? So this is written 20 years ago. In time, the oral traditions began to be written down. In this process, quite naturally, the original diversity began to diminish. The translation of an oral tradition...
Well, I hope it's mostly oral and not too brief, baby. You know.
Into written form involves a process of selecting the version to be told. The version would be based upon what the writer considers most important, the audience to which it is written, and the degree to which the chosen audience will be able to relate to and understand what is written. It also leaves those who cannot read or write almost entirely out of the process. Thus, in the translation from an oral to a written tradition, the views and experiences that are expressed narrow significantly. Nevertheless, even with the transition from an exclusively oral tradition towards a written tradition, in the first several hundred years of Christianity, there were literally hundreds of different lines of teachings and practices. How many is several? There's like a couple is 2, a few, 3, maybe 4, several, more than 3. Several hundred years, you say? If Jesus died in 32, and all the Nag Hammadi type books were forbidden in 375, I don't know about you, but by my count, that's about 353 years. 353 years. Can that be called several hundred years? No. I'm sorry, Tau Malachi, but we've just discovered that... I'll move on. Okay. Yes. The vast majority of these, I don't know. In the several hundred years, nope. The oral traditions continued alongside the written traditions. The vast majority of these oral and written traditions were mystical and Gnostic in nature. They maintained inner and secret levels of the teachings, and placed great stress upon direct spiritual or mystical contact with Christ in each individual's own experience. Oh, you got to harp on that at least once in every paragraph, Tal. Be sure to harp on that. That's the main point that y'all seem to be getting at, but the Gnostic Scriptures seems to have forgotten about. It seems to be much more in line with other things. But it's okay. You can invent a new religion and borrow the name and aspects of the form and identity of an ancient one in order to give it some veracity, but just make it a Christianized version of some kind of New Age mumbo-jumbo. Sorry, I was channeling my old Orthodox priest. Okay. Well, that was fun. No, that's what we do. We read a paragraph of that. And now we're going to read some of the old Nag Hammadi. So let's hit it, shall we? The nature of the emission. The emission of the members of the all that comes from the one who, capital O, capital W, is, capital I, the one who is, has not taken place by way of a division, as if it were a separation from the one who gave birth to them. Rather, their birth has the form of a spreading out, by which the Father spreads himself out into that which he wishes, in order that those being in bracket parentheses, who have gone forth from him may be as well. Okay, so far we're talking about giving birth, and the process by which birth is given involves the Father spreading something. We've all seen that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, right? Yeah. The Father spreading gives birth. Nothing cut, nothing divided, no umbilical cord. It's just the Father by himself. The divine emission, Ptah style. All right. So Gnosticism is just as, unbalanced, let's say. At least the tripartite tractate, as we've talked about before, this is varying shades of degrees of on and off of spectrums. If you put Gnosticism in quotes here and Orthodox in quotes there, then the texts in this book, and indeed the many texts that were circulating before the canonization, before the 27 preferred texts were clarified, are all somewhere on and off of this spectrum. This one seems to be leaning toward Orthodox, but not quite enough to be considered non-heretical. Anyway, all right, I'll keep reading. Oh, Yudoki, the Father spreads his legs. No. By which the Father spreads himself out onto the toast. No, that doesn't say the toast. Into that which he wishes. Oh, okay. Father spreads himself out into that which he wishes. That's one way of saying the Virgin Mary. In order that, bracket parentheses, those who have gone forth from him may be as well. For just as the present aeon, and he's talking almost 2,000 years ago. It's funny to hear people talk about in our present aeon. For just as the present aeon is single, yet divided into ages, ages into years, years into seasons, seasons into months, months into days, days into hours, and hours into moments. In the same way, the true aeon also is single, yet multiple. Being glorified by small as well as by great names according to what each is able to comprehend. Think of all the bacteria living in your digestive system. It belongs there. It's evolved alongside of us. Symbiotic relationship. They're like the security guards in the mall that you are. I'm just on a physical level. So, you, Larry, versus little Larry. Little Larry, one of the trillions of... Alright. It's a similar idea, I think, right? Yes. Or, to use other similes... Ooh, I like this guy. Or lady. They didn't say. It is like a spring that remains what it is, even if it flows into rivers, lakes, streams, and canals. Or like a root that spreads out into trees with branches and fruits. Or like a human body that is indivisibly divided into limbs and limbs, main limbs and extremities, large ones and small. Yeah, just like that. With a microscope, then you could get into the simile that I was using. Okay, cool. So that's the nature of the emission. Not as exciting as I thought it would be. Okay. Now, are you ready for free will, wisdom, and the collaboration of the aeons? Neither am I. Let's go. The aeons were brought forth according to the third fruit. Ooh. We gotta pause. The third fruit. I need to introduce something. In 1997, I began writing a story called Second Fruit. It's kind of like a biblical reference or something. And, yeah, so Second Fruit, there's an image here. Let's put that image up here. Thank you. And, yeah, after a few years, I sort of finished it. I don't know. Like, it was like, the version that's in here, the version that was in my head unfinished in 1997, I definitely like more than the finished version that you find in here at the end, in sort of the appendix section of the New World Empire and the Interdimensional Coffee House. See, what happened was, one day I took a lot of nutmeg. I've told this story before, so I'll tell the quick version. Started seeing the future. High school friends asking me questions. What's the future going to be like? Then that became the beginning of, that fucking, whatchamacallit, the New World Empire. But I took the characters from Second Fruit and some of the dynamics and the sort of like the gods, if you will, the old gods and the new god, and all of that. But I made some of them characters and some of them like implied, unseen, non-existent. Long story short, the third fruit reminded me of Second Fruit, and Second Fruit is the origin. It's where the New World Empire got started, and then the Interdimensional Coffee House bloomed out of the side of the New World Empire. Okay, that's enough. I'll put the link in the description below if you want to get yourself a copy of my book there and learn all about it. Yes, there we go. Continuing. There's a footnote. The third fruit, tripartite tractate, 69 through 70. What? Is that... Oh, it's making reference to itself? 69 through... Oh, the third... They became fathers of the third glorification, which was produced in accordance with the free will and the power they had been born with. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, for those with photographic memories, you might remember that from part 15 or part 14 of Nag Hammadi on chicken philosophy. All right, cool. Continuing. By using the freedom of the will and the wisdom of the Father, had graciously given them for their thoughts. They do not desire to give glory, bracket parentheses, together with, and bracket parentheses, that which the individual fullnesses may produce in unison as words of bracket parentheses glorification and bracket parentheses, nor do they desire to give glory together with the all as a whole with a WH. Nor does one desire to do so together with another aeon who has already attained a higher level or station than himself without obtaining what? That's when there's the little arrows on either side, greater than, less than. I don't know what that is, so I just assume it's boldness. So when you hear me say, as is what, then just know that there's like the little pointy brackets on either side. Okay, I mean parentheses or whatever, greater than, less than, parentheses, has been desired from the one who resides in that higher name and the higher station. He receives him with himself at that higher level. And the one who desired to ascend to him engenders, as it were, himself, engendering himself through that other with what he is, renewing himself with what has come to him from his brother. What the fuck are you talking about? That was editorial commentary that slipped through, not part of the text. Seeing him and praying to him about this matter. In order that this may happen, the one who has desired to give glory does not say anything to him about it except this only. For a boundary with a capital B for some reason to speech is placed in the fullness with a capital F for some reason, making them keep silent about the Father's unreachability, but allowing them to speak about their desire to reach him. I'm getting like vibes of like when it's too hot, when you got kind of like sunstroke or some bad like mushrooms or some combination of the two. Somebody's got the wrong kind of cannabis and it's a little too hot, and somebody's asking them questions and they're kind of like, when your brother is the one who desires the aeons of the fold of it, be silent about his unreachability, but you can desire him all you want. Someone's like, are you drinking water? Are you okay? I think something's short-circuiting in your brain. But no, they're like, write this down. This is brilliant. I don't understand what it means, but it kind of sounds like scripture. Maybe we could pass this off as a gospel or something. Do you think Athanasius will go for it? Not Kircher, obviously. Saint Athanasius. Cheers. All right. Continuing. Okay, so this next one is called The Presumption of the Youngest Aeon. Okay. It came upon me. That's a good start. One of the aeons that he should undertake to reach the inconceivability of the Father and to give glory to it as well as to his ineffability. It was a word with a capital W. Was it a logos? Belonging to the unity, bracket parentheses, although, and bracket parentheses, it was not one that arose out of the union of the members of the all, nor from him who had brought them forth. For he who has brought forth the all is the Father, with a capital F. For this aeon was one of those who had been given wisdom, with ideas first existing independently in his mind. For as what? So as to be brought forth when he wanted it. Because of that, he had received a natural wisdom enabling him to inquire into the hidden order, being a fruit of wisdom. Thus, the free will with which the members of the all had been born caused this one to do what he wanted, with no one holding him back. Now, the intention of this word was good, because he rushed forward to give glory to the Father, even though he undertook a task beyond his power, having desired to produce something perfect from a union in which he did not share and without having received orders. This aeon was the last to have been, that's the arrow, the brought forth through mutual assistance. Now we're talking about language. Mutual assistance. Right. And he was the youngest in age. And now we're getting inappropriate, talking about mutual assistance, and she was just 17. You know what I mean? Yes, you're under arrest. What? Yes, okay. And before he had yet produced anything to the glory of the will, with a capital W, so they must be talking about William Riker. And in the, you remember Tom? I wonder how he's getting along. What? And in the union of the members of the all, he acted presumptuously. It's a big word. Out of an overflowing love, overflowing essence, emission, right, and rushed forward toward that which surrounds the realm of perfect glory. All right. Let's give that last line a chance. And before he had yet produced anything to the glory of the will, and in the union of the members of the all, he acted presumptuously, out of an overflowing love, and rushed forward toward that which surrounds the realm of perfect glory. No, still doesn't make sense. All right. Next section is called This Happened in Accordance with the Father's Will. Isn't that what taxi drivers in Egypt say when they run over a squirrel? But in Arabic, obviously, it's just a short phrase that basically means that. It was not without the will of the Father that this word had been... That was from... I'm making reference to Baghdad Without a Map and Other Misadventures in Arabia by Tony Horowitz. Something to that effect. It's a fun read, actually. I think it was the 80s. I mean, that he was writing about. I could be wrong, but it's fun. The Father brought him forth, the things he knew must take place. Ooh, this sounds interesting. Okay. It was not without the will of the Father that this word had been brought forth, nor that he should rush forward. Rather, the Father had brought him forth for the things that he knew must take place. For the Father and the realm of the All now withdrew from him, in order that the boundary, with a capital B, should be firm, that the Father had fixed, for it does not exist to prevent the unreachable from being reached, but because of the will of the Father. And also in order that things that happen should be for the sake of an economy that was to come about, there's a footnote on economy, or organization, or plan of salvation, here and below. 3 different things. Okay, I'll just, whatever. And it was not possible that it should not come to pass. Do you mean it is possible that it should come to pass? It's not possible that it should not come to pass? It will definitely come to pass. It's not possible that it should not come to pass. All right. Somebody needed an ancient proofreader. What? Yeah, I don't know. For the revelation of the fullness, with a capital F. For this reason, then, it is wrong to condemn. Yes, I agree, finally, with something. Oh, the sentence goes on. It is wrong to condemn the movement that is the word. Rather, we should speak about the movement of the word as the cause that made an ordained economy come to pass. Were it not for the footnote that explains that economy in this context means something completely other than the English word economy, then that would be even weirder than it is. As it is, it's just nonsensical. But okay. Yeah. Thou shalt not condemn the movement of the word that led to the economy. Through His Majesty Donald Trump. I guess, I assume. Wait, no, this was 2,000 years ago. Things are cyclical. They repeat themselves. It's kind of comforting, isn't it? Except when you think about all the things that are coming up for us, if it is a cycle. It's not a cycle. It's a randomly generated AI. That's more comforting, isn't it? The word is divided. Okay. Now, on the one hand, the word gave birth to himself as a perfect single one. Did you guys know? I mean, but it's the lady actually gives birth. The man just okay. To the glory of the Father who had desired him and was pleased with him. The things he had wished to grasp and reach, however, he produced as shadows, phantoms, and imitations, for he could not bear to look at the light, but looked at the depths, and he faltered. Because of this, he suffered a division. This is lowercase h, so what the fuck are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Let me start over. Now, on the one hand, the Word gave birth to himself, like you do, as a perfect single one, to the glory of the Father, capital F, who had desired himself. The Word is the Father gave birth to himself, the Word gave birth to himself, and the Father liked it. Hey, that thing we just gave birth to, which is myself, I like it. Are we talking about the Son? Are we talking about Jesus? Let's assume so. The things he had wished to grasp and reach, who? Lowercase h? The Son? The Son has a capital H, but this is heresy, so maybe it doesn't. All right. Or maybe we're talking about Adam? What the fuck? The things he had wished to grasp and reach, however, he produced as shadows. I mean, I kind of like, there's something Buddhist Jungian about the things that the created one made in the image of the Father desires, he creates as shadows. That's kind of bars right there. Maybe if we get nothing else from today's reading, we can plug that in, although I'm sure it's not meant the way that I'm taking it. However, he produced as shadows, phantoms, and imitations, for he could not bear to look at the light, but looked at the depths, and he faltered. Because of this, he suffered a division and a turning away. From the faltering and the division came oblivion and ignorance of oneself and of that which is. All right, I can see why they didn't include this in the Bible. Yeah, not saying it's great. Not saying the Bible is... I mean, you know, the Bible is overtly patriarchal on every page. This is overtly patriarchal on every page. And I can see why this wasn't included in the Bible, because it's nonsense. Even though much of the Bible is also nonsense. It's a particular kind of nonsense that this nonsense seems to be kind of going its own way. Like the most beautiful of the fucking angel singers in the Silmarillion, you know. No, not exactly specifically like that, but similar. His movement upward and his design to reach the unreachable hardened for him. All right, I'm listening. Go on. And remained in him. I just don't see how that's physically possible, but I'll keep reading. The sickness, however, which ensued when he was beside himself, arose from his faltering, that is, his failure to approach. It's in the fucking stupid thing, so I said it like that. The glories of the Father, whose exaltedness is without end, that he did not reach because he could not grasp it. Carl Jung's soul grasped it, remember, in the previous episode of Chicken Philosophy. I'm going to stop reading, and, you know, I mean, I've come to accept that sometimes the episodes of Chicken Philosophy are like this. You know, eventually, I'm not peeking ahead, so I don't know how much longer the tripartite tractate is going to be. And then, once we're finished reading it, we'll read the introduction. We'll see what the editors and translators have to say about it, and how Gnostic it is, if that's a spectrum and not just a word floating around in a bubbling foam of quantum whatever, you know. How are you doing? Are you doing well in spite of the fact that you just listened to me read all that? I hope so. If you haven't seen it already, and you want to, like, if you are like, oh no, it's ending. I like his voice. I want to hear him read things. Thank you. And I will give you 2 links in the end screen. One is going to be the Carl Jung Black books that we read 2 days ago, which was enjoyable. Spoilers, his soul came back. Again, I think this is the second, like, fake out. It's like sort of formulaic, except it's not, because it's Carl Jung, just, you know. But anyway, And then the one down here, will be yesterday's Shingon reading, which was all right. It wasn't infuriating. It was fine. It was even a little bit interesting at times. So there you go. Those are the options for the end screen. Hope the music was all right. I don't think we called on Editor Edward today. That's good. That'll be convenient for him. Well, next time it's going to be BT reading Martin Luther. One thing you can say about Martin Luther is he makes sense. Not saying that he makes good sense, not saying always, or not saying that, but at least the sentences are understandable. You can hear and understand what he's saying, what he's getting at, and his assumptions and presumptions are close enough to our own that we can even catch kind of the subtlety and the implications and a lot around what he's saying, and so that can sometimes be worse than reading the tripartite tractate, where it's somebody 2,000 years ago going, fucking what? If the aeon were a bubble, then you, man, are like the bubble inside the bubble, and you're never gonna not. God's son was a little bastard, didn't you know? And I don't know, he's gonna drift upward one day, it's his destiny, but right now he's desiring stuff and creating shadows, and it's like, yeah, don't put this one in the Bible. Athanasius, leave this one off your list of 27. Let them dig it up later and go, huh? And try to convince each other that this is good stuff. Oh, yeah, I agree. Or whatever. Doesn't matter. I guess that's it. So, yeah, next time it'll be BT reading Martin Luther. And so you can look forward to that if you're twisted. And, all right. Enough is enough. Check out the end screen. Just click the one that you feel drawn toward. And I hope you enjoy it. Until next time.